Okay, Sean, it's Monday, start of week 2.
Morning.
Yeah. How did everyone get through detox? How did everyone get through cleanse? Quite lively on their WhatsApp group, which was pretty cool. Everyone was posting a lot of recipes as well. Everyone was posting what they were going through. So it was really good. We've got a really great group going
The
through.
food looks fantastic.
Yeah. I think everyone's done really well. So that was cleanse week. That was detox week. That is to clean the palate. That is to get us away from the sugar cravings and everything like that. Because we've got a fair bit of information about those reasons today. Where you and I are going to speak about them, just to show everyone the reasons behind what we're going to be doing, or what we did last week, and what we're doing for the next 3 weeks. And there's definite signs and there's definite reasons that we need to tell you all about. And yeah, if you understand, if you understand it, it's a lot easier. So so really, this week now is the program proper. This is where we really start the TLS Transitions Lifestyle System. And the idea is to transfer or transition our lifestyle to a one which is more manageable for the longer term. If we can understand how our body works, how metabolism works, we should be doing some form of this program, um, pretty much all the time, because it's just so easy. It's just fundamental. So let's go. So Dr. Sean, let's go through a few fundamentals of what are the components of this program. Um, I want to first start with exercise. We're going to start doing exercise this week. Why do we have to do that? What's the physiology? What's the science? How does that work?
All right, so this is to do with metabolism. So when we have a higher amount of muscle in the body, we have a better metabolism and we're burning more energy just when we're resting. So just going about your daily life, if you have to maintain a higher muscle mass, you're going to be using more calories and more energy just in existing. The other thing as well, which is quite interesting, is with glucose and carbohydrates, which is just broken down into glucose, we store the majority of this in our muscles. So we store about 200 calories worth in the liver, and then somewhere around 1,800 worth in the actual muscle, depending on how much muscle you have. So this is interesting because when these stores, these glycogen
So this
stores,
is
these
this is
stores
this
of
is glycogen stores of energy that we use every minute of the day, or we use it. What are these stores for?
yeah, so this is where we're getting our energy from for everything that we're doing through the day. So we're using either fat for energy or we're using glucose for energy. So this will change depending on what activity you are doing, but physical, more strenuous activity, uh, you're going to use these glycogen stores, this glucose, as the preferred energy source. But if you have already maxed out this storage in your muscle and in your liver, and then you go and consume more carbohydrates and more sugar, more glucose, you're then going to be storing that and accumulating fat. Whereas if you are doing exercise, you're going to be burning through those stores of glycogen, of glucose. And then when you consume more sugar, more carbohydrates, you're then replenishing those stores.
So from what I can gather is that the glycogen stores are our energy, our fuel tanks, I suppose. They're in the liver and they're in the muscles.
Mhm.
And effectively, we need to be burning off that energy so that so effectively, if we do regular exercise, what we eat, like effectively, in short, we can eat more carbs, and we can eat a less of a, I wouldn't say a less healthy diet, but we can be less strict on the carbs and things like that and the sugars, because we're burning off the fuel. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's a good summary. So basically, if we have higher muscle mass, we can eat more sugar before we start to gain weight.
Mm.
And if we have less stores of glycogen in the tank, we can consume more sugar before we start to gain weight.
Right. So if we're not exercising and we have sugar and carbs, it goes straight to fat pretty much. because our
Yeah,
glycogen
yeah.
stores
Those
will be.
glycogen stores are already full.
Mm.
Exactly.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. What I feel a lot of the time when I'm cycling, particularly long distances, I'll do anywhere from 3 hours to 5 hours if I'm training for um, Three Peaks or around the bay or something. I sometimes have sessions somewhere between 5 and 6, 7 hours.
Hmm.
Funny thing is, you explaining the glycogen stores. I know when the glycogen stores are depleted. Like when my fuel tanks have run out, it's like
That's
there's just
called
no
hitting the
energy.
wall.
Yeah, there's just no energy. It's just like I can still ride, like I can still pedal and still keep going, but there's just no. It's just like there's no second gear. It's just like I'm just in this low range sort of just and that's probably using other sort of, catabolic, your fuels, maybe muscle and those sorts of things,
Yeah.
following
So
that.
this is when the body switches to burning fat as its primary fuel source once all the glycogen stores are depleted.
Mm.
And most of us are very inefficient at burning fat for energy because we're not used to it. And this is where those like keto and low carbohydrate diets, they're trying to make people more efficient at burning fat and having them in that fat burning phase more often. Where really what we're looking for is a balance. You want to be good at using glucose for energy, and you want to be good at using fat for energy.
Yeah, because they're both energy sources. That's right. So
Mm.
effectively, my question on that is, if we are on for example, a keto diet, which TLS is not a keto
Mm.
diet, once our
No,
body
definitely not.
runs out of all the fat, we're then that's a problem, isn't it?
Yes, that's unsustainable. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to have some fat storage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not a lifestyle. It's something that can't be done over a long period of time. Yes, people on keto diets lose a lot of weight very quickly, but once again, it's about what composition of what is being lost, making sure we're keeping our muscle content high. It goes back to the metabolism, doesn't it? Back to increasing metabolism.
Yeah. Look, I don't have a problem with the keto diet temporarily. It's quite good. But a more balanced diet is definitely better.
Yeah. So as part of that, exercise is crucial and key as well, is just good. So to keep it simple for this week and the next few weeks, what are we going to do?
As far as exercise,
Yes, correct.
yeah, so we've put in the group and we're sending out an email today. So we've just put that email together. That is going to have the workouts on there. So there's the cardio and the full body resistance training workouts. So we originally said there's 6 of them, and you can choose from those 6 which ones you'd like to do. But today we're going to encourage maybe sticking with cardio 1 and resistance session 1. And the other thing with that is we've got you and Dr. Chris going through how to do it. So we're going to put that video up as well, and that's going to have the full workout demonstrated, and they can follow along and do it with you guys as well with that video.
Yeah, so we did the full body routine, and we also did the um, oh goodness, I've just drawn a blank here.
It's the cardio.
Cardio. That's right. So there's the two routines.
Yeah,
So we've done both of them. So they'll be in yeah. So
yeah.
and they can be followed along. So any of the participants can
Mm.
follow along with these. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that then moves us to okay. So if we've got exercise under control, and we're going to be exercising every day. Look, the recommendations for exercise is so from Fitness Australia, they recommend 150 minutes of moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise weekly, or 75 minutes of vigorous cardiovascular exercise weekly. So that's like, that's if we go every day of the week for about half an hour to 40 minutes, that pretty much is that's what's recommended pretty much through all studies and all levels pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's to help with preventing lifestyle diseases in the future, like diabetes and heart disease and stroke and all those sort of things.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, because that's what a lifestyle is for, isn't it? That's what we want to offset. So, okay, so let's now talk a little bit about glycemic impact eating. What is it, and why is it that the participants need to know what it actually is? Because this is what is the components of what we've been eating in cleanse or detox last week, and what some of it
Mhm.
will continue through to these next 3 weeks.
Yeah. So this is all about insulin and about blood sugar spiking. So low GI foods are going to have less of a spike in blood sugar, and then insulin is what is released after that spike in blood sugar. And the thing with insulin is it actually promotes fat storage. So the interesting thing with this is though, when we think about sugar spiking, we think of something like lollies or like a chocolate bar or something like that. And this does, it creates a very quick spike in blood sugar, but it also is absorbed quite quickly and then reduced back to baseline quite quickly. So you do have that spike in insulin and a little bit of a fat storage effect, but it's particularly much more noticeable when you have these complex carbohydrates like pasta and rice and bread and these things. They are broken down into glucose in the body the same way that a chocolate bar is, but it doesn't spike as high, but it lasts so much longer because it takes such a long time to break down that the overall amount of insulin that you end up having in the body creates a lot more fat storage. So for people who are diabetics, they know that if they were to have a chocolate bar, that wouldn't affect them anywhere near as much as if they were to have like a big bowl of pasta. So that's why you will have noticed in this fat shredder part of the 30 days, there's very little of those complex carbohydrates.
So that's the technicalities of it to keep the. I was trying to actually get out the. I might actually get it back out again. There's that graph that we actually have where it's got the arrows with the blood spiking and then coming back down again
Mhm.
as a component of the program. So I might find that for all the participants as well, because that's a good one. I like to see that it's all that information basically in a one pager, and why we want to keep it that way. So okay, so that's good. Okay, now protein. We're going to be adding the shakes in this week. So the protein changes. There's a bit of a change in. I wouldn't say we're still eliminating sugars. We're still eliminating dairy, but protein less lenient. More lenient. How are we going with that?
Yeah, so we increase the protein from 2 serves a day to 3 serves a day. So that'll be with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we've also got the shakes on top of that, which we can have as a snack or after a workout.
So pretty much we've got protein and fiber. That's the aim, to have protein and fiber with every meal. And one of the things that I want to point out with regards to the TLS nutrition shakes is that they're very, very different in comparison to a lot of the other shakes you may have heard of out there, like Man Shake or, um, you know, um, a lot of them. The reason being is there's three fundamental reasons. The first thing is um, they have fiber in them. Okay, so high amounts of fiber, which we need with every meal. They do have the protein content in them as well. They're very low in sugar. A lot of the shakes that are out there on the market are very high in sugar. So we definitely don't want any sugar, remembering, because it actually we want to keep the body in that type of we don't want to spike the blood sugars. Um, and and yeah, they've also got vitamins and minerals in them. Okay, now why this is important is because if we're generally we understand that if we're going to be supplementing a meal, or we're going to be um, skipping a meal, I suppose, and just having a shake, well, then having vitamins and minerals in that, we would normally be getting that out of food we will be eating. So we definitely don't want to put the body in a state where it's deficient vitamins, minerals. It falls into a state of starvation or crisis because there is something that it's not quite getting. So this aspect of the TLS shakes is crucial. That's why we call them, and that's why they're called nutrition shakes, because they actually have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them. And add to that the multivitamin we've been taking as well for last week and we'll be taking for the next few weeks. The vitamin stores, the mineral stores should be, getting right up there. So this is another key component of the program, which makes it so successful that our body doesn't moves out of crisis and into more of a natural functioning cycle and system. Add to that regular exercise, as you've mentioned, Dr. Sean, burning off those glycogen stores, and being able to replenish that with food that we're eating, means that's why this program is so successful. Is that sort of a good summary of why we'd be taking the shakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how they can.
Because we know that protein and fiber is amazing for long-term health and weight loss. And then, yeah, they're loaded with good nutrients. So keeping our nutrition stores nice and maxed out.
Exactly right. So they're the components. Now, a real big key of understanding or learning this week needs to be that low glycemic impact eating. So we have the video also, which is the TLS video on low glycemic impact eating. Very, very important that everyone watches that and understand what it is, how it works in the body, etc. So the exercise videos we'll have up there as well. The exercise plans. Also, the menu plans that we're going to continue to follow is the 30-day jumpstart phase 2 component. So it's the same component that we started the cleanse with, but it moves into a phase 2 component. Plenty more recipes. I think two great recipes, which I think everyone should look at. Dr. Sean, I don't know whether you've had before the cauliflower fried rice, which is made up of cauliflower, carrots, and celery, and basically we blend that up, sort of like into a consistency that it's like rice, and we can use that in dishes and cook that up in dishes like rice, pretty much.
It's amazing how similar it actually tastes like rice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool, actually. And also spiralized zucchini as well is a really good and quite a similar substitute to spaghetti. With like a low sugar pasta sauce. They can be that's pretty much like a pasta dish. It's really, really good. So they're in the recipe guides or they're in the 30-day jumpstart guides. So please have a look at those and try and use those. Now, coffee. Let's talk about coffee. What do we do with regards to coffee this week and the next 3 weeks?
Well, they're back on the menu this week. So
they're back on
you
the
can
menu.
have a coffee.
Don't go crazy. The thing about coffee is it's important to understand what goes with it. So sugar, milk, everything that we add to coffees like lattes and cappuccinos and everything like that isn't really the right way to go. Yes, black coffee is fine. Basically, if we are exercising, etc., it can actually aid a little bit, like things like green teas as well that have caffeine. Caffeine is actually quite good to get the heart rate up, to get the metabolism up. So at this point, it's okay. It's just we needed to get past that toxic level of coffee drinking, minimal exercise, too many carbs, not burning the glycogen stores. We needed to move the body. We've got to move the body into this next phase of basically fat burning. So that's where coffee's at. Dr. Sean, I know you don't drink coffee, but green tea is on your menu, so
I do drink coffee occasionally. I like black coffee, but I only have it on the odd occasion.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So, any further things we need to go through today for everyone? Is there anything on your mind?
The one last thing I want to say, just in regards to the blood sugar absorption, we haven't really touched on fiber. So the thing with, we understand that fruits and vegetables all are carbohydrates. The difference with them is fiber actually decreases blood sugar absorption. So you don't get the same spikes. So if you've got 5 grams of fiber in an apple and 5 grams of sugar, you're basically nullifying the sugar with the fiber and having almost no blood sugar spiking, which means no insulin production, which means no fat storage. So this is where the difference between more processed carbohydrates, which have very little fiber in them, you get huge spikes in blood sugar. Where eating fruit and veggies, you don't get that same effect, and it's the fiber that actually decreases the absorption of sugars.
Yes, very good point. Very good point to end off with, because a lot of people have read or heard that, look, if I'm going to eliminate sugar, I need to eliminate fruit. But no, fruit is part of a balanced diet. Dr. Sean, you and I were talking about, a new study that came out just recently. We were going through it. You were explaining a lot with regards to how that works. I think that information is a bit too complex for the participants right at this stage of the program. But maybe if we're
I
if
think we're
anyone
still
wants
getting
to,
our heads around it. So
yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty awesome stuff. But it just makes complete sense. So don't limit, don't omit fruit completely from a healthy diet for sure. So today is Monday. The email will have all the components, also the tracking sheets. It's important too. We're going to need, what are we going to need? 23 of the tracking sheets, phase 2 tracking sheets, those blue ones. So please make your copies of those and keep using those on a daily basis so you know exactly what to do and when to do that. Also, tomorrow night, so that's Tuesday, 7:15, we have the second session of the program, once again in the office. So well done everyone who came last week, whoever wants to come this week too. And this one's going to be an important one because we're going to really make sense of the glycemic impact eating, why exercise is so important, what the differences we're moving into. So, and also, yeah, everyone please watch the low glycemic impact eating video. That'll be linked. I think we'll also link it separately in the WhatsApp group too. So that's it. We're all ready to go. All right. Any final words, Dr. Sean?
no, that's it. Enjoy this week. Everyone's doing
Perfect.
really
Yeah.
well.
Enjoy this week because this week, yeah, it's going to start ramping up really cool. All right. Okay. Thanks for your time, mate. See you,
Yeah, see
everyone.
you later.
Keep it up.
Bye.
Bye.